We have another amazing interview. This one is with filmmaker, writer, director, Kris Rey.
All right. So Kris Rey, writer, director, filmmaker extraordinaire, got to watch your amazing film. I used to go here. Tell me a little bit about the movie.
Yeah, okay. So this is my fourth feature. It is a comedy starring Gillian Jacobs and Jermaine Clement, as well as a cast of awesome actors. It is about Kate, who finds herself in the beginning of the film sort of in a very bad place. She's a novelist, and her first book has just come out, and it's not doing very well. And her book tour has just been canceled. We also learned that she had an engagement that was called off, and all of her friends are sort of like having babies, and and she's in her mid-30s. This is a point in time that is very specific for a lot of women, I think, that will relate to that. It's sort of like, okay, so what are you doing with your life? Are you going to have kids? Are you going to get married? Are you going to focus on your career? Are you going to try and do all three? It feels, it's filled with a lot of anxiety. And she gets invited back to her alma mater to do a reading of her book. She gets invited by the professor that she used to have a crush on in college. And then she goes back to Carbondale, Illinois, which is where the movie takes place, and the home of my alma mater, Southern Illinois University, and sort of stays a bit too long, has some misadventures, and sort of, finds, I don't want to say finds herself, it sounds so lame, but it's sort of like, she finds a way forward, I would say.
I found it to be like a coming of age comedy at the same time as it was like kind of either or.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like coming of age.
And I feel like today with like modern cinema, there is no direct line of genre. I feel like every genre movie I see has to really be the epitome of that. It's hard not to have a comedy that doesn't have drama or romance inside of it. It's hard to have a sci-fi without dark fantasy. So I like the genres kind of mix and match a little bit like that. So yeah, I definitely found like a coming of age story in there.
Yeah, I do too. And it is, as a writer, it's very rare that I begin a project by thinking like, what genre will this be a part of?
Yeah, exactly. Like no one sits there is like, I'm going to write the best drama in the world. Like,
no,
you're like, I want to tell this great story, right?
That's right. You just tell a story, and that was certainly the case with this. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, you said this is your fourth feature. Tell me a little bit about how things have changed from, let's say, your first feature to your fourth feature in regards to production, crew, time. I bet it's been a huge evolution.
It has. When I began, my first film premiered at South by Southwest in 2009, and it was very small. I paid for it myself. This is pre-Kickstarter. I paid for it on my visa. It cost about $10,000, and which is, a lot of money to put on your credit card.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a lot of money, as a 27-year-old, I think, to put on my credit card. But I made it with just 3 friends. We traveled to Costa Rica. I had only a sketch of an idea. We improvised it and edited as we went. And the only reason it costs $10,000 is because that's how much it costs to get 3 people
Costa Rica.
to and around Costa Rica, and then buy myself a computer to edit the movie on. It was no one got paid. No one was sort of at the height of their craft. We were all young, and sort of everybody was up for the adventure, and it was a huge difference from the way that I made this film, which cost around $1 million.
Yeah.
had many people in the crew and a much bigger cast, and was completely scripted ahead of time. So it's been a huge evolution for me in that sense.
That's almost opposite, actually. That's almost literally
I know
the evolution that I think many filmmakers, many of us want to go through ourselves.
Yeah, I think certainly from my generation of filmmakers that are coming up, that was how a lot of people began. You know, I started making films really in 2005, and which was, you know, sort of like where the mumblecore movement got started, and I was a big part of that. And coming out of the school, which is a, you know, very cool and useful school, which was just do it. And you don't have to wait around for approval. You don't have to wait around for someone to give you the money, and you just make it. And you know, I am very nostalgic for that, and think often about doing something again like that with my work, because it is so freeing in a way.
Yeah. So again, going from having friends that are gonna jump on a plane to Costa Rica, which would be really hard right now, I bet.
Yeah.
But going from this just fun, creative brainstorm of a whirlwind to, you know, celebrity casting, how was that process?
Well, I have my previous feature, Unexpected, that I made in 2015. That movie was similar process to this. So it's not my first departure from, you know, how I made films earlier, but it is much more traditional way of going about it. I wrote a script. The script was sent to the agencies in LA. The agencies sent it out to actors. The actors read it. The actors' managers read it. Then the actors read it. Then I met with the actors to talk about, you know, how they felt about the script, whether it made sense for us to work together. I cast the actors through that process, and then had to go through a similar process to find financing for the film. So it is a much more sort of traditional route that can be, you know, totally frustrating, to be honest.
Oh, I feel you with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, you're going from having a couple of friends that are just improvising, that are just, you know, they trust you, you trust them. Everything is just kind of on a flow to, you know, they want to know the shots, they want to know the times. There's going to be SAG cards. There's going to be second ADs managing things. Again, like agents and investors, and trying to play that like we have big name while we have money, but neither's really there type game.
Yes, that's right.
So I know there's a lot of just younger filmmakers that would love to know like your process through that, and this has been kind of a cool story for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always as open as I can be with up and coming filmmakers about that process, because it's not something that people talk about often, and it's really difficult to navigate. And you know, but the biggest advice that I impart on people that are just starting out is not to go through that process if they can help it. And really just to do what I did in the beginning, which is just make something small with the money that you can grapple together, and with people that you know and trust, because it happens. It certainly happens, but it is very difficult to get money and to get the industry to trust you when you haven't made work. And often what happens, I think, with filmmakers, young filmmakers, but also established filmmakers, is that you get stuck in this sort of window of development where you're just like, you have a script, you're waiting. And even though this was my fourth feature, and I'm certainly much more established than I was in 2009 when I made my first feature, it took about 2 years. I mean, the movie was cast, and for the most part, and the script was finished, and it took about 2 years to just get the money in order to make the film.
And that's something that people really do need to hear again, that it really takes that long to get the paperwork, to get the lawyers, the accountants, the business established, and then get the money. The money is way
Yeah.
harder than casting it. It's way harder sometimes than getting like
Yeah.
crew interested. It's really getting the dollars interested.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough.
It's tough.
And if
So-
you're not careful, you can just be stuck in there forever and rely on it. And then it doesn't happen as so often. You know, I have so many friends that are filmmakers that get stuck there, and then the movie doesn't happen and it's gone. And I'm lucky that didn't happen with this. But it's still a possibility in my future, you know. It's just you sort of have it. There is a freedom, and while you can do it, I do encourage people just to try and make it without going through that process if they can.
That's cool. So now that you have made it, where can we see it?
So right now it's playing at the Music Box, which is crazy. So the Music Box is open. They're playing this movie in their big theater. They're only which seats 750 people. They're only selling 50 tickets. So it's very, very easy to socially distance.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, if you do feel safe doing it, I think it's really good for the Music Box for you to buy a ticket and go.
It's good for the industry and the industry in general.
Yeah, they're also doing a virtual cinema through the Music Box, which is I'm so happy that the Music Box has been such a strong supporter of the film, and I love the Music Box as everybody does in Chicago. But then in addition to that, the movie is going to be on iTunes and Amazon and all of those paid platforms starting on Friday the 7th. And it's very, very, very helpful for people to pre-order the movie. I will not see any direct income from this. I promise you. But what it actually does is, and just learning this too, the amount of pre-orders puts the movie in a better position on the iTunes page, so that more people will see it and more people will buy the movie. So I encourage everybody to do that. Yeah.
Well, it's just a good piece of advice, I think, for other filmmakers that have product going out on the distribution sites that do allow paid films. It's helpful for just filmmakers in general to get up there and get there before it's even on the platform.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing for you?
I'm writing a new feature now that's just in the outline phase. That's also a comedy that I'm excited about, also about women. And it feels a little broader to me than this one, which is fun. And you know, I've been playing a lot of Monopoly with my kid, and I've been going on long walks. I've been baking bread. I've been doing all the pandemic stuff. So that's.
Did you get a puppy? Did you get a puppy too? Everyone's got a puppy.
I wish I had a puppy. You can't
No,
find
don't
a
get
puppy.
a puppy. No, my fear is like in 2 years now. I have 2 cats from previous, but I feel like in 2 years we're gonna have a lot of stray dogs.
Oh my God.
So I'm just like, don't get puppies, people.
Oh my
like,
God, yeah, that
it's so sad.
It doesn't happen here so much, but it does happen in other countries often.
Yeah, where people get puppies and they
people get puppies and they're like, this puppy's difficult.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, in the
yeah.
United States, apparently it's tigers too, you know, who knows?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, we could do a whole other podcast about
I guess about Tiger King. So I'm gonna just round this up with, you know, you gave a lot of filmmakers a lot of amazing advice today, but if you could give like one piece of it, you know, advice to like that person who wants to be a PA in his first day, what would that be?
I mean, just work your ass off, I think, you know. Yeah. I think you really do have to do that in this industry. I think you really just have to work your ass off. And I do think that I think actually I'm going to say not just work your ass off. You have to work your ass off. And I think you also have to be inquisitive. I think, as you know, if you're starting out on a crew as a PA, and this is not something I actually ever did. So I'm speaking, I've only sort of came in as a director, not knowing what the hell anybody's job was really. Yeah. But as a director, what I see is that if you start out as a PA, which is a great way to begin, then spend a lot of time with the crew, you know, with the department that you're interested in. If you're interested in camera department, spend a lot of time with the department. Stay later, ask questions, tell people you're interested. And for the most part, you know, I make a very conscious effort to hire crew that I think are lovely people. And so I may be a little naive as to like the greater industry, but the people that I know are very excited to impart their knowledge on others. And I think if you're a PA that's getting started, then you're going to find that people are excited. If you're excited about what they have to teach you, they're going to be excited to teach you that. And you'll move up quick, you know?
Amazing. Well, this was a great little chit chat. I don't want to keep you any longer,
you.
Kris Rey. Very excited to see your film come out. You want to drop a website or anything real quick for us?
Oh, is there a website? I don't know. You can follow me on Instagram, Kris Rey, Kris Rey.
Yeah, great. That's perfect.
Putting updates on that. Yeah.
Cool. That's amazing. All right. Well, talk to you later, Kris.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All
right,
bye.
bye.
Hey, Michael, I just wanted to give you a call because it looks like you're still getting some pretty important mail.
Kate, just focus on the fact that you wrote a book. That is huge.
Yeah. Turn and show me your baby bump. Smile.
Guess where I am?
Where? In Carbondale.
Welcome back, right?
David Kirkpatrick brought me down to do a reading. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Kate was in my very first class ever as a professor.
How's your book doing?
Not as good as I would have hoped.
What would you think about teaching here?
Teaching here.
It would be nice to have you here again, Kate.
Hey.
Oh, hi. I used to live here.
Seriously? Hey.
We're having a party. You should come.
I used to dance in this room like 15 years ago.
I was in kindergarten 15 years ago.
The whole thing is very restrained.
I could go for a little restraint.
Oh my God!
You want to see something?
Yeah.
What happened with you, your boyfriend?
You mean my fiance?
Were you hoping you guys would get back together?
Oh, I'm so pathetic. Life is not like school, all right? It's all like possibility for you.
Are you coming back?